continues on with the dumbest comparison I've ever heard. He goes, "You can't help it and it will happen like abortions." Hi guys, so I've decided to continue on from the last video on dumb things white people have said to me. I've got 2 story times with receipts. This is for the people that sent this to me, because if you're watching, I'm about to expose you. Let's get started. So, which one do I even start with? Do you know what? Let's start calm. So, imagine it's a nice warm afternoon and you've just eaten and now you're just really tired. You want to have a long nap, then wake up and just watch YouTube videos the whole day because you have nothing else to do. And then you hear a dum. You check your phone. It's a message from someone you haven't spoken to in a long time and you aren't even that close to. So you look at it like, okay, I'll just quickly read a reply and go to sleep. No, this wasn't going to be a quick reply, because this is what they had to say to me. It was during the time when people were probably protesting about Black Lives Matter. Like, I know they still are now, but it was a time when it was fully in the media. So they decided to send this to me, probably because I'm the only black person they probably know, which is just great, you know. Anyway, so this is what they said about the protest. They said, "It's messy ASF. PP say." Now, I'm gonna read exactly how he wrote this, because what I don't understand is you're coming for me, a black person who was not even born in the UK, but you're not gonna come at me with proper English. Like, that's just embarrassing. You're the English person, yet you can't spell simple words. Like, next, and the fact is that he was typing this on his phone. Like, there's autocorrect, so that means that your spelling was just so bad, autocorrect just didn't know what to do with it. So I'm gonna expose everything, including the way this person typed their words. So people say he spelled it as PEOYOPY, say, join together. So people say it's a protest. It's not, it's a riot. This is when I start getting just annoyed and fed up. He goes, "I dated a black girl before and that even proves I think everyone is the same. Haha." Like, what part of that was funny? Why did you need to add the haha to the end of it? Like, you know when people say something offensive, but they clarify the haha so it sounds less offensive, but it's still offensive. So I'm there like, do you know what? Let me just educate this person, because I'm all about teaching people to do better. I mean, I have to do better as well. So we all have our roles to play. So I'm like, that's not how it works. Dating a black girl doesn't make you not racist. In addition, riots have led to a lot of positive change. People have died and nothing has happened. We have tried peaceful protests and nothing has happened. When you watch your people get constantly murdered with no justice, it can make you very angry. We've tried the other ways and it hasn't worked. That's why we're now trying protesting. Then he goes, "Not my point." So you mean after I managed to crack this Morse code alien English and then explain both your points in detail, instead of just telling you you're wrong, you're saying that's not your point. So what was your point then? Just to harass me? Is that it? So I'm there like, do you know what? I've explained it already. He clearly doesn't want to listen. So I go, "I can't explain it. I'm tired. Full stop." You know, like, one sentence, full stop at the end means end of conversation, stop bothering me. But no, he continues and sends 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 lines more. 14 lines of words that I don't want to hear and are just really redundant, to be honest. So anyway, this is what he says. "You can't help it, they're individuals, not a group of people that are racist." he's saying racism is on an individual basis. See, this is what I mean. Like, when people say like, oh, black people can be racist and stuff like that, people are only basing it on the definition of black racism being a one-to-one hatred of someone's race. But racism, we've got to a stage where racism is far beyond that. Racism is a collective thing. If I, as an individual, say to another white individual, I don't like you because of your race, that is a racial prejudice. I know a lot of people have an issue with this, but I'm not being racist to you. I have no power over you because of your race. Even if I'm saying I don't like you because of the race, it's not specifically because of the race, it's because of the history of stuff that your race has done to my race. It's not a one-to-one. I don't even know how to explain this to people to understand. Do you know what? This is an example I gave is not even a realistic one. The real situation that goes on is that most times it's white people that are racist to black people. It is not that they're individuals being racist, as he says. It is actually groups of people. So individuals coming together as a collective in a massive system to oppress people of colour and black people. So that in itself is just wrong. Then he continues on with the dumbest comparison I've ever heard. He goes, you can't help it and it will happen like abortions. It's like skipping all the numbers. So you go from 1 to B, like you completely disregarded the rest of the numbers all the way to infinity and jump to the alphabet. How are you linking racism to abortions? How are you saying racism has to happen because, you know, it just exists, like abortions have to happen? No, they're not the same thing. Like, how does one sit there and go, racism is like abortions? I really don't even understand this. And then he keeps going, he doesn't stop. He goes, people don't agree with it, some do, it will happen. I really hate this mentality that because something is the way it is means we have to accept it. I'm really against that mindset, because if we thought like this, a lot of things wouldn't change. We would be in the same position we were 100 of years ago. And even if you don't want to think of it in a political or human rights point of view, think of it in a technological point of view. If people just accepted that, do you know what, we have telegrams, we can communicate with people, that's all we need. We wouldn't all have the smartphones and the smart technology that we have right now. So that's why I really have an issue of saying just because something is the way it is now means it's okay. And that applies to laws as well. There are a lot of laws that just because they're laws, people think it means it's the right thing. But in the past, laws were created to put and oppress a lot of people. Even now, there are a lot of laws that still exist that are not right, that we do need to change in the future. So saying that it's gonna happen and we should just leave it is just very wrong. And then he keeps going, even black people are racist to whites, whites are racist to blacks, browns are racist to whites, and so on. You can't help it, society is effed. I really have an issue with this. Like, I've had discussions with my friends and they've disagreed with me, and I respect that. But from my understanding of racism, as I explained earlier, it's very difficult for a black person to be racist to a white person. This idea of reverse racism actually came from America. White male Americans who wanted to feel like they were victimized. So it's very weird to see black people then going, yeah, we can be racist to white people. Because when you understand the origin of reverse racism, it just there's something odd and off about you then agreeing with it, and just not just the origin but the concept and idea of it. Like, unless, I don't know if you all saw that video, unless I go back 400 years ago, managed to convince all black people to oppress white people, then there's no way I, a black person, can be racist to you, a white person. It just doesn't work like that. People are oversimplifying racism. And then he finally decides to end here, where he goes, people will do, but justice happens, but rioting won't do any justice, then just stare as in STER instead of STIR, the pots. So just stare the pots and make people think that who are doing it are doucheheads. Yeah, I censored that part, but at this point I realized that this guy just messaged me to start a fight. Like, there was no purpose, there was no trying to have a discussion. I'm really open to people having discussions with me. I am constantly having discussions with so many people. Like, that's the type of person I am. I like talking about what's going on. So I guess that's why at first I entertained it. But by the end I just realized this guy was just not coming to try to understand or be educated. He just wanted to share these viewpoints that were very messed up. So at that point I was like, okay, full stop, like okay, dot, that's it. And then screenshot it so that if he doesn't understand okay means end of conversation, at least me screenshotting it will make him go, oh poo, she's about to send it to people, isn't she? Which is exactly what I did. I sent it to my girls group chat because I needed to rant and I needed more people to rant. But the whole thing just really unsettled me, because it made me realize there are actually people that think like this. They sit there going, because racism exists, it's fine. Because I know a black person, I can't be racist. Because I dated a black person, I can't be racist. Like, how does that make any sense? And like, do you know what, even ignoring race, because I feel like some people don't want to look at it from a race point of view, like they choose not to. Let's say I give you a scenario of let's say you one of your best friend absolutely loved Liverpool, but you're a massive Manchester fan. Just because you're friends with your friend that supports Liverpool doesn't mean you like Liverpool, if that makes sense. Like, let's say Manchester and Liverpool are rivals, but just because your friend likes Liverpool doesn't suddenly mean that you love Liverpool. I don't know if I could. Okay, I feel like that's as simple a way as I can explain it. Yeah, just because you wore a Liverpool shirt once because you had no other shirts and you had to borrow your brother who supported Liverpool, but you're actually a Manchester fan, doesn't mean that you like Liverpool. That's the best explanation I can give for why saying I dated a black person or I know a black person means you're not racist. So I hope if you are watching this, Jay, anyway, I hope if you are watching this, whoever you are, that I don't know your name, you just research, read up. We have so much access to technology, so much access to resources. Just read up and learn why all these comments you made were really not necessary. And in future, please double, triple think about what you're gonna say before you send it, because I will screenshot, because you can't really be walking around saying this. The next story time is about how I, a black woman, tried to educate this white woman, and she turned it around through microaggressions at me, had her friends join in, and decided to just outright disrespect me when I'm trying to educate her during the Black Lives Matter wave. Like, it just makes no sense to this day. So I'm just gonna go through what happened. So basically, do you remember the time when everyone was like doing this Black Lives Matter chain? I joined in, but now I think about it, it was so useless. But anyway, at that time when everyone was doing it, I noticed these group of white people from that I know, and I saw that they were doing this, but they weren't tagging hashtag Black Lives Matter. So it just looked like one of those challenges, at the beginning of lockdown, where everyone is like, tag 5 people to run, and then tag 5 people to post their childhood pictures, stuff like that. It just felt like one of those jokey year 7 style challenges. So I called this person out and I was like, this is what I said it so politely. I was like, can you guys please at least tag Black Lives Matter? That's all I said. I was expecting sorry, I didn't even notice I didn't do that. Instead I got, it's about spreading awareness. Imagine being that rude. Which part of my sentence was rude? Secondly, spreading what awareness? Are you saying in big 2020 people are not aware that racism happens? This isn't a Save the Turtle situation. We're talking about Black lives that have been murdered and been oppressed for so many years. What awareness are you trying to raise? If you don't know what is going on at this point, then I don't know what to do for you. And if it's you that doesn't know, then go and spread awareness to yourself. Go and pick up a book. Go and Google it and read up for yourself. Don't try to pretend that you're doing something good when you clearly missed the point of this whole thing. So I then explained to her why what she's saying makes no sense. So I go, firstly, how am I being rude exactly? Okay, my tone throughout all of this was very respectful, okay? Like, growing up in a very white community, I've had to learn that. Like, I can't say certain things with a certain tone because I'll be labelled the angry black girl. I mean, I am angry. Like, watching your people die constantly is gonna make you angry. What did you expect? And actually, I know I'm diverting, but I was reading about this thing on how all black people have trauma in our DNA. Like, all the years of oppression, all the years of pain have been passed down from each generation. That is literally become part of our DNA. So it would be weird for me to be happy about this whole situation. So this whole why are black people so angry thing is just very ignorant. Like, do you want us to be happy and always smiling? Anyway, so I go, this isn't a trend. I'm simply telling you to tag Black Lives Matter instead of just tagging your friends. We're already aware about the issue. Tagging wasn't about that. It was to show that people stand in solidarity with blacks facing these injustices. So not even tagging Black Lives Matters renders what you're doing useless. So I explained the point that we're already aware of what's going on, and that the tagging it was essentially to just show you stand with us, but clearly you don't, because that's why I have an issue with social media. There are people who post all of these things, but behind the scenes they're still racist. So what this girl and her friends were doing were tagging each other in this Black Lives Matter thing to show they stand in solidarity with us black people. But then when I, a black woman, tried to educate her, she then said I was rude. Like, your actions and your words and what you're posting are really not matching at all. It's just very hypocritical. So then instead of just replying or like going, thanks for educating me, or just going, okay, I understand, like a mature adult would do. Like, this girl is older than me, so instead of just being mature about it, she goes something like, what was it, okay then, or fine then, and then unfollows me. So I'm there, like, I didn't even notice she unfollowed me. Basically what happened was, so I was going through my stories and I saw that one of her friends who already followed me decided to watch my story from her private account, which was so weird. Like, why? So at first I was like, okay, that's a bit weird. And then I noticed some other random person who does not follow me and I do not follow decided to start watching my videos. And from checking her account, I noticed that she was friends with that girl that I just had this altercation with. Because I was still following her, so you know when you're following someone, it tells you who else that person is following, if that makes sense. So I'm there like, okay, this is weird. Why are random people suddenly watching my stories? And then a couple of minutes later, one of the girls that was randomly watching my story from my private, who's actually a close friend of this girl I held the altercation with, she posts this thing. Oh my god, my voice. She posts this thing. I'm gonna read what it says. She goes, To the people saying that Black Lives Matter chain is useless, by people she means me. This was clearly aimed at me. She goes, so people saying that the Black Lives Matter chain is useless because it's just tagging people. It's all about awareness and showing how many people are standing together, question mark, question mark. What is with this thing about raising awareness? Okay, to anyone watching this right now, we already know racism exists. We're not trying to spread awareness that it exists. So stop with this fake I support Black people when you really don't even understand why we're doing these things or why you're doing these things. You're joining a bandwagon, a trend, and not even properly knowing why you're joining the trend. It just makes you look dumb. Like, you're joining a trend and you don't know why you're doing it. And then saying it's to show how many people are standing together. I've tried to educate you guys, and now there's 3 of you that have decided to essentially attack me. How is that showing that you're standing together with us? Like, it just makes no sense. And then she goes, just don't get why some people have to make an argument and make more aggression when everyone else is trying to make peace. So me educating is now an argument. It's now me starting an argument. And then she had to use a microaggression at me, saying that I'm making more aggression when they're all trying to make peace. So, well done. I'm the aggressive Black woman now who is telling you guys that what you're doing is wrong and therefore interrupting the peace. How does that make any sense? Like, how is me educating you disrupting the peace? You're the ones making this much deeper than it needs to be. I've educated you, I moved on with my day. Now all of a sudden, instead of her just going, reflecting, or just leaving me alone, she's lurking on my page with her friend's accounts. And then instead of her sharing this, she's got her friends to do it. That's shameless. That's actually shameless and embarrassing. You couldn't even address it yourself. You had to get your friend to post it. So, and then she ends it with hashtag Black Lives Matter. I really hate this thing, yeah. Now we're now in a phase where people hide their racism behind the hashtag. So they can say I hate N-words and then go hashtag Black Lives Matter to like make it seem like, I'm not actually that racist. But just tagging hashtag Black Lives Matter does not hide the fact that you are rude or racist. Anyway, so I just decided not to address that girl because the thing with me is like, I wasn't having this issue with her friend. I was having this issue with this guy I started this altercation with. So I wasn't gonna then call out her friend specifically. Like, you aren't the person I had the problem with. I don't even know why you're getting involved in something that has nothing to do with you. But I decided to address it because one, I'm gonna be going back to a place where I will be seeing both of these people. So until I address it, I'm just gonna have this negative vibe with them. So I've addressed it now. If you guys are watching this and want to have a go at me, come here, go ahead, but be respectful and be mature about it, because I will call you out again. I'm just gonna let you know that I will call you out again. You're both grown adults, so having all 3 of you like suddenly start ganging up and being so immature, it's just very embarrassing on your side. And the sad thing is, I'm sure there are people reading this and watching this thinking, yeah, I agree with her. And it just baffles me, especially the fact that this was during the peak of the new wave of Black Lives Matter. The point of them posting this thing was because of Black Lives Matter, and then they then go ahead and make microaggressions comments at me and disrespect me once I'm trying to educate them. Like, the stupidity of the matter completely went over their heads. They didn't even realize how dumb they looked by doing all of this and how hypocritical they looked by doing all of this. But anyway, I prefer if some people are outright just racist than pretending to be nice people but are actually racist, because now I know to be careful of those two girls and her other friend who I've literally never even met before. I literally don't know why she was lurking on my page and all of that. Like, I literally don't even know you. So sis, just stay in your lane, mind your own business. Anyway, so that was the last story time. Yeah, now I don't even know what to say. Bye. Bye.